Well. Straight onto the live stream after a 4-2 win over Al Ittihad in the pre-season friendly behind closed doors. Fulham flew out the blocks, 4-0 up. Hold on.
Al Ittihad.
Oh, my bad. Need to mute the YouTube stream and the YouTube tab open. Welcome along. Let's have a conversation about the game. Let's talk about some various Fulham things, but let's run through the game. And I thought that was a really fun first half, a really flat second half. 9 changes were made at half time, and then we brought on Aaron Lapilo B. I believe it's pronounced now. Not now, it's always been pronounced like that. But in the vlogs on the Fulham YouTube channel, everyone's pronouncing it Lapilo B. And then John Asenga coming on for Ryan Sessegnon as well in the second half. So look, we lost the second half 2-0. Karim Benzema scoring 2 goals. Good save from Benjamin Lecomte from the penalty, but he then tumbles in the rebound. And let me just double check something quickly. Excuse me. Okay, I think we're okay. Okay, brilliant. And then obviously Pereira's corner, like, it was promising. It had some good swerve on it, but there should have been there somewhere on the penalty box to head the ball forward, or just, I can't remember how many yards it was out, but then in comes the ball falls to nobody, and then suddenly there's a break on and they score at the front post or sort of inside the 6-yard box, Karim Benzema. But let's go back to the start of the first half, which was absolutely outstanding. Was it poor from Al Ittihad or really good from Fulham? My favourite saying in football, it was a bit of both. Let's start with Harry Wilson. What a finish. Outside of the left foot, and just like curls it. Well, not curls it, sort of swerves it into the back of the net. Second goal scored by Emil Smith-Rowe, where it's like a cross-come shot, takes a deflection, loops into the back of the net. Josh King with a brilliant volley. He was outstanding. Lovely ball in from TC and a nice finish from Josh. And then this is really good. Off the training ground, ball in from Wilson. Jorge Cuenca sort of peels away and then slides it. Sweeps it, into the bottom corner. 4 different goal scorers in the first half. They were such a level above the second half where I don't know. I mean, because you're making 9 changes, so I'm expecting no drop-off in performance in terms of energy, in terms of performance levels. And there just was. And I don't really know why that was, because essentially you've got only 2 players who are on for 20 minutes, 19 minutes, basically 20 minutes, more than just the 2 players. And then suddenly you've got 9 players who are fresh out the gate. Quite a few big names for Al Ittihad. Aouar as well, who was at Lyon and was linked with Fulham a few years ago. I seem to remember being obsessed with the idea of signing him. The front players for Al Ittihad were certainly decent. They had Stephen Bergwijn, former Spurs player, of course. But back to this Fulham team, it was good. In the first half, I started getting very overexcited, starting tweeting about the Champions League and stuff like that. All tongue-in-cheek, of course, because it's only pre-season. Every single year it's said. But I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that first half. I'm delighted with that aspect of the performance. Second half, let's run through who was playing in the second half. It was Lecomte in goal at the back, Tete, Diop, Bassi, Sessegnon, then Asenga, Harrison Reed, Sander Berger, and Andreas Pereira, and then Iwobi, Adama, and Muniz, and then Lapilo B came on. Lapilo B came on, I don't know why. There were some good bits, but it wasn't that sort of electricity. Like, Fulham completely flew out the blocks. A couple of mistakes at the back from Joachim Andersen at the start, but apart from that, off the left, Smith-Rowe looked really, really good. King pressing, sort of TC joining the press with Muniz sort of leading it, and then Wilson supporting as well. That dynamic worked really well, and I actually think that will Smith Rowe be playing? Because when Smith Rowe first joined the club, I just assumed he'd be playing off the left and then play more centrally as well. But now we're seeing a role where he is, maybe we're just adding that to his game. And I think that sort of up and down nature of what a left winger needs to bring to a game is going to help his fitness levels completely. So let's go through some of the comments, because you guys are here watching and engaging. I just wanted to sort of talk for 5 minutes and then we'll look at some comments. I just need to double check something. Okay, we're fine. We are fine. Let's go from the top. Pereira should not take free kicks or corners. Their second goal comes from a terrible corner. Yeah, I just mentioned it. All this David Ornstein stuff here. I think I just saw that. Oh, I don't care about that. It's just Chelsea. Yeah, Wilson was on corners, and then on in the first half, and then was on the free kick against Nottingham Forest. If they're both on the pitch at the same time, going forward, who's on corners for me? Wilson. I know that Pereira's got a good delivery, and we've seen that before. But again, just like there's no evidence there that he's going to be our most strong taker in terms of set pieces. And then, of course, he's on free kicks. Well, Pereira's hit the bar a couple of times from them. Wilson scored a really good one against Forest, albeit he said he didn't catch it correctly. But it was a wonderful, wonderful free kick. So he should definitely be on free kicks. Let's go through some of these comments. Muniz not for sale. No decent young forwards to replace him. Look, the Muniz thing is going to be very, very interesting over the next few days, because Newcastle and Atalanta now, it was reported halfway through the game that Atalanta are interested in Muniz after having a bid rejected for Jean-Philippe Mateta. It's squeaky bum time when it comes to Rodrigo Muniz. Let's talk about it. Am I worried about Muniz being sold? I'm worried that Newcastle have a lot of cash, and I'm worried that if Sesko chooses Newcastle, I think we're okay. If Sesko doesn't choose Newcastle, and it looks like he's going to choose Manchester United, then my forehead will have some sweat on it for sure. And that's not from the 31-degree heat here in Portugal, which is, by the way, absolutely beautiful. Sorry if I missed somewhere. Oh yeah, we did that. Sorry. How was Lecomte overall in second half? Actually made a really good save at the end of the game, and I was sort of halfway through doing a full-time tweet and didn't actually tweet it, but that should, I should give my praise to Lecomte. He scored, so he didn't score. He saved a penalty on his debut, and then of course, with a good save right at the end. I thought he did very, very well. There was one kick where he sort of gave the ball away from it, sort of a long floater, and didn't quite find a Fulham man, but apart from that, he was absolutely fine. Better upgrade on Bender for sure, which is good. It was what we wanted. TC ran things first half. Yeah, he still got it, hasn't he? Nice touch, nice turn, and then Josh King as well. There was just, when I tweeted that he's an incredible at football, it's because he does this thing, Josh, where low centre of gravity, takes the ball and just turns. Oh, it's just so good to watch. Half turn, sort of turning Phil Foden sort of stuff. I know it was a friendly, and I know he played well against Forest, and they were just the kids. But and we've seen it against Brentford. If we plant Josh King in a Premier League game against Premier League opposition now, how many months on now? 7 months on from his debut against Southampton. Was it maybe 8? Was it in December? Doesn't matter. I think he's going to do fine. I think he'll do. When I say fine, I think he's going to be at a Premier League level, like he was against Brentford, and I think that's incredibly exciting. And I just had to remind myself, like halfway through the game, when I was tweeting about Josh King, because I tweeted he was really good, and then he scored, and I was like, oh my god, it's not only like, oh god, he's in the last year of his contract now. Everyone's going to be. We've got him for 4 years. He's signed a 4-year contract. That is genuinely it's good news on paper. And then you watch him play, and you watch him the way he plays in this team and links up with players on and off the ball, and you're genuinely like, we have an England international, future England international on our hands. I don't believe it. I swear I do not believe it. It's unbelievable. Didn't like how we were giving minutes to Reed over Ridgen. I think okay, I can understand the point you've made. I think that Ridgen's basically been taken for the experience, and if he doesn't, he hasn't got minutes now, but him not getting minutes isn't going to be him going, oh my god, have I made the wrong decision here? It's for the experience. It's for to be around the first team. You've seen all the videos on YouTube. I don't have much of an issue with this. He's going to be predominantly with the under-21s this season as well, but just to have that bit of experience. I think some kids went last year and didn't get many minutes. And I'm certainly very excited about Seferidge, and it's a big story for the summer. Smith Rowe looked good off the left. Positive indeed. Something to think about. The comp looked more assured than Bender, at least. Absolutely. Ittihad was really good in 24-25 season. I don't know what now. Oh, I see you, Ittihad fan. The first half they looked incredibly lethargic. Second half they perked up a little bit, which does. Maybe the manager gave him a kick up the backside at half time, but it does concern me how sort of lethargic we were in the second half with fresh players on the pitch. That's my one concern or my one takeaway that's negative. Who are you taking a goal for a season? Stephen Bender or Hamid El Shankwiti? I'm guessing that's the keeper for Al Ittihad. Neither. Neither. We'll play with no goalie. What do they call it? Rush goalie, don't they? On the in goals or something like that. Is it curious that Robinson hasn't had any minutes? This is my concern. Robinson's out there. He's also had, he's had surgery. He's rehabilitating. He's obviously way behind now. Like, I think he's obviously staying fit, but in terms of ready to play, and we're like a couple of weeks out from the season starting. If we're having to start the season with Sessegnon at left back, I think that's okay. But obviously, we're going to miss Robinson dearly when we go forward. I think maybe the left back market should be looked at, but obviously you don't want to bring in someone that's going to be like, well, Robinson's like, you want Robinson as your number one in terms of left back. Sessegnon can now play on the wing, but I think for cover for now, it could be okay. But if we want to move Sessegnon, that will then stifle Sessegnon's chance of playing out on the wing. And suddenly you've got a Senga and then no other option. And the Senga, I think, should get a loan out because the kid is absolutely fantastic and he needs some men's minutes like he has had tonight and against Nottingham Forest to sort of get himself going. Cottage Talk reposted this stream. Thank you very much. We're going to be talking on Cottage Talk a little bit later. Just depends, Russ, how long we go for here, just to talk about some things. And then hopefully by the hour, luckily, obviously, US time is a little bit different. So I'm sure you've got some time on your hands. If you don't, then drop me a message and we'll go a little bit earlier. Reed, AP, Adama, not impressive. King is the star boy. That was my takeaway. I mean, Adama had a couple of chances as well. A couple of saves from the goalkeeper to deny him. But yeah, the second half that is the worry. But like, if we were to start that 11 against Brighton, the 11 we started, obviously Calvin Bassey's probably like sort of first choice, but Cuenca's done superbly well, and then you got Anderson. I'd be fairly content with that. Obviously, we need signings and we need players in, but I'd be like Smith Rowe for the left. And obviously TC. I mean TC. Yeah. I think TC, I'm happy with that. Happy-ish podcast. If Nelson comes in with Iwobi and Emil Smith Rowe, who should be starting left wing, probably. It's hard to say. I think we need to see. One more friendly against Frank. Are we playing Frankfurt? Yeah. We need to see that, and then we'll see. But yeah, I'd like to. Obviously, Nelson will want to hit the ground running if he eventually comes in. It's still not happening at the moment, as in it's probably on, but it's not. We haven't been given the green light, the green tick to sort of get moving on that. And yeah, so as it stands, I'd probably start. Well, I'd probably start Smith Rowe on the left because I think Josh King as the number 10. I just absolutely adore him. I think he's fantastic. I think he held his own very well tonight and could play Premier League minutes from the get-go. Emil Smith Rowe has looked much better on the left, these two friendlies, than he did century last season. Hopefully it's a sign of positive things to come. And what I said at the start is, sort of the role of a winger and the role of a central attacking midfielder, I suppose, is to track back as well. But with a winger, you essentially have to, keep following the man, helping out, doing a lot of defensive work as well as going forward. A lot of some wingers stay forward just due to tactics if they've got that star quality. But I think Silva will probably demand his what he's always demanded is his wingers to track back. So that will help his fitness levels. And I think that he looked good. He looked really good. And all my stocks are in Smith Rowe this season. I'm looking forward to it. Wonder if Goddo is on his way out. No minutes in 23 now. Oh, is he on the bench, wasn't he? Yeah, I think is it time for a loan or permanent for Martial Godo? It's hard to say. I mean, he was in the first team, in and around the Premier League squads last season. I just think maybe it was that down to the injuries of other wingers. Maybe are we going to get new wingers in? I think so. So where does that leave Godo? I think plenty of Championship teams want him on loan. I think there's no harm in sending him out on loan and then seeing if we can make something from him in the future, unless he has an absolute world beater season where you can consider the first choice winger. And that's obviously going to be tough, but I think Godo probably knows his role. He's probably spoke to Marcus Silva about it, and I think hopefully we find a suitable move for him. Or he could stick around, but I just don't see many minutes for him apart from Carabao and FA Cup, really. That's if everyone stays fit. Is there any way I can watch? The game's finito. It finished 4-2. We're just doing a little reaction here before we end things for the night. Surprise, we haven't had tried Bassi at left back with Cuenca and Yao as centre backs would be solid. Could be an option. If we're really short at left back. That's actually a very good point. I'm keeping Reed over AP all day. At least he puts a shift in. I mean, look, we're a couple of games in, and suddenly the AP sort of slander continues or starts again. I can't sit here and defend him because he doesn't really help himself with that sort of the goal led to from his corner. Didn't do an awful lot today to make me do some somersaults and stuff, but he didn't help himself today, which is a shame because I do like him a lot. Okay, so yeah, Russ, if you want to give me a text, then obviously we'll speak in private, and then we'll sort some things out. Gary, really awful at the moment. Can't believe we haven't got anyone in. We need 5 to 6 new players. Absolutely. Sorry, I thought that was someone I knew because someone I know has got the name Gary, and his surname starts with the letter D. But yeah, I wouldn't say really awful at the moment because we put in a good performance and we've got a good squad. Yes, maybe I got a bit giddy at half time, but we were 4-0 up. Yeah, 4 to 5, maybe 6 at a push by deadline day. I think we need maybe then 5 more because we've got Lecomte in. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there is work to be done in the market. And I just do wonder when that sort of first big sort of Ornstein, he's on his way back from Singapore or wherever Arsenal are at the moment. I hope it's soon. Hold on a second. Yeah. Excuse me. Any update on the set piece coach? My God, I can't read. Any update on the set piece coach vacancy? I'm not sure. About that. Don't rate Godo would sell on permanent. Yeah, fair enough. I think he'll get a loan. To be fair, Godo sure needs to be kept. Definitely a player in there. Okay, no, 2 comments of different opinions. I like the healthy debate. Tete or Castagna to start the season. Ooh, well, Castagna put in a good performance, and Tete was playing in that second half where we weren't very, very good. So I would say it's going to be Castagna. Maybe Tete. I'm not sure. It could be either. That doesn't really help. Fulham need a proper DOF here, not in America. Yeah. Tony Khan was doing a live stream during the game. But he has liked a couple of my tweets tonight, so he's aware of what's going on with Fulham, which is always good. Won every pre-season game at a canter, and we are really awful according to some. Look, people I think maybe really awful in terms of no signings or no outfield player signings. I think that's probably the point he was making. But I thought the performance was really, really good in the first half. I wouldn't say really, really awful the second half, but just slightly off the pace, and that was obviously a frustration. With King looking like he's going to have a bigger role this season, it does feel like we are quite well covered in that position. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is he good enough to play, in the Premier League week in, week out? I think yes. I think he is good enough, which is very, very encouraging. Very, very encouraging. Yeah. Castagna is the most underrated player in our squad. For some reason, I thought that said in the world, and I was like, huh? But yeah, he's fantastic. And considering he had surgery as well, he's come back looking fantastic. Heard any rumours of players leaving, i.e. Muniz? Nothing. Can't believe Tony Khan was live streaming mid-game. Yeah, he was doing AEW stuff, wasn't he? So look, he's got to plug it, I suppose. Personally, I think the Tony Khan hate is unwarranted. I think just the standard / quality of player we're going for makes it harder to sign them ASAP. We are fighting to keep our players more now. I would 100% agree with a lot of what has just been said. In fact, probably everything that's been said there in that comment. Let's move on. Thanks for all your coverage, matey. Really appreciate the efforts. I will then, in that case, plug my Patreon. Now you can get it. If you're in the UK, you can get it at £4.50. I'm trying to fix it when I get back from Portugal, but right now I'm just sort of focused on getting everything out there. Is there time? Okay. Okay. This is interesting. Yeah, I would subscribe to Patreon because you might get a little teaser of what's to come in the coming days this evening. Let's just say that £4.50 if you're in the UK. The content on there, I don't want to be sort of tooting my own horn, but I suppose you have to in this day and age. Has been fantastically fun. And there's, as I tweeted yesterday, I've interviewed 2 players yesterday, both of which played tonight. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to drop who the first one is this evening. So I'm going to try and find a good time to do that before everyone sort of tucks up in bed. So maybe it will be just after this live stream. So please do watch out and you'll get that news first on Patreon. Really don't want to overhype, but I've got a really good feeling about Josh King being an important player for us all season. I agree. And he said in his interview when he signed the contract that, he spoke with Marco about minutes and he's got to, impress, blah, blah, blah. But he is impressing. And therefore, that's going to equal more minutes, certainly more sub appearances than he got last season for sure, because he's such a good option to bring off the bench, as we saw at the G-Tech against the bus stop. Would you sell Muniz for 50 million? No, I would not. I meant awful as lack of transfer business. Yeah, no, that's fine, Gary. I think I established that. Silva would have told the board what was needed back in January, and he probably did. I think those deals are just harder to do because I think we're going for a standard of play, which is very, very exciting. I believe, or I think. King's going to feel like a new sign for us this year. And actually, to be fair, he does feel like a new signing, even though we had him last season. And this is a point I made a couple of weeks ago with Jack and Joe or Joe Sanson, that players can get better. No, Ashley, no. Do you think we make a marquee winger signing, as in not Nelson? Oh, it's hard to say. Maybe. Cess will want more minutes this season. Wilson on fire. Your defence is terrified. Iwobi regular starter. If Adama stays, Nelson signs. Another adds too much competition, in my opinion. Yeah, but it's, when you put it like that, it sounds silly to try and sign a new winger. But I think if we want to compete at the top level in the Premier League, I think that we're going to have to make. Signings, wide area. You've got Iwobi on one side. Let's just say on paper, Iwobi on the left, and currently nobody else on the left, although Nelson can play there. Wilson, Adama, and Sessegnon can play on the right. I think there needs to be another left-hand sided player, even though and maybe that is why we're seeing Smith Rowe play out on the left, just as another option. Do you think this is Silva's last season? I can't tell. I can't say. I think we'll have to talk about that at the end of the window for sure. But it's a good question. Heard anything else about Polinia? Just what I tweeted yesterday. Palace and Villa have Europe, and they can't get anyone to join them. But people think we're not trying to. Yeah, no, that's a good point. But the thing is, let's not worry about whatever. I know it's good to reference it, clubs having really bad summers and stuff, but we shouldn't use that as an excuse to be like, well, if they're having bad summers, then we're okay to sort of lag behind and not sign players. This should be the time where we take advantage of that situation. And I know it's obviously, you can come back at me and say, well, we can't get these deals over the line. Yeah, and you're completely correct. But hopefully we can get moving and sign some players. And Villa fans are very frustrated right now. Palace fans are incredibly frustrated right now. They rejected a bid tonight for Jean-Philippe Mateta from Atalanta, who also now are looking at Rodrigo Muniz. So scary stuff. Is £15 million for Zinchenko good value? I wouldn't say 15 million. I think that's too much. For a player who can play two positions, though, it's pretty good in terms of what he can bring to the squad. But I think we could sign him for around 10 to 12. I know that's only a few million, but we're trying to penny pinch and get the best deals done. I think there's a little bit of negotiation there, and we've got a good relationship with Arsenal. 999 people have now joined the stream, not necessarily watching right now. We've hit 1,000 now, actually. But at least people are tuning in and watching, following Fulham's 4-2 win over Al Ittihad in a pre-season friendly. No worries, Gary. It's always good to have a good conversation, and I like healthy debate. Fans aren't always going to agree with each other. I've certainly, had disagreements throughout my years of supporting the club, with friends, with family, with very close friends. Just because we support the same team doesn't mean we're all singing from the same hymn sheet in terms of opinion. It just was we sing from the same hymn sheet when it comes to house every weekend. No, when it comes to the team we support. I must turn Fulham tweet notifications back on because I had them off during the game. I didn't want any spoilers because they might have been slightly ahead of time. Okay, they're back on. Right. Okay, I'll leave that. Anyone else for any more before we end? Because I'm going to go and join Russ on Cottage Talk for a good old discussion about this game and about all things Fulham. But yeah, I'm going to plug the Patreon again. £4.50 now. It's not £5. It's £4.50. So and when I dropped that sort of bit of news last night on Twitter, when I said I interviewed 2 players and I dropped it on Patreon a little bit before that, everyone was very, very excited. And I believe that tomorrow we will see the start of that sort of content coming out. I believe, unless, let me just double check and see if it hasn't gone up already. Otherwise, that would be a huge bombshell that I just haven't been necessarily prepared for. No, that's good. I think, hold on. Let me just double check. No, we're good. We're good. I would have been told. So, yeah. So let me just recap and let me just sort of tell you more about that situation without giving any spoilers away. I interviewed 2 players yesterday, both of which took part in the game tonight. I won't say anything more than that. I will drop who that is on Patreon, I think maybe in about 5 minutes. And then I'll do Twitter in about 15 minutes and just schedule that up. Because I think it's important that people know just the first interview, because I'll save the second one for another time. But it'll be very, very soon. It will be over the next couple of days before I leave Portugal, certainly. I'm very excited. I'm going to be working on those articles tomorrow. You can then listen to the full interviews, which are feature length, the longest interviews I've conducted with players or manager since I started this incredible job. And you can only listen to that on Patreon. So please do subscribe for that exclusive content. And that is why I set up the Patreon. That is why I do it, because to give Fulham fans exclusive content. And of course, still posting quotes and match updates on Twitter, because everyone deserves to see that. And I'm not saying no one deserves to see. It's just because I'm explaining it badly, but you got to make money in the world, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. And monetizing it at the cheap price of £5 a month, now it's £4.50 at the moment, is I think is a fair price. It's less by a couple of a quid per month for it was to watch the match pass tonight, which was £5.69, no, £6.99. So you're paying £4.50 a month or £5 a month, $5.50, €5 a month for monthly content. Nearly every day of the month, and you're paying £7 to watch a behind closed doors stream. So the value is there. There's 2 big interviews coming out very, very soon. I'm really excited to launch them. I'll launch one of the players tonight, and then the links are in the bottom of this YouTube stream. The Patreon's logo. It's in my bio as well, my Twitter and my Instagram, Jukeli FFC. It would be wonderful to get some more people in. We're so close to a milestone sort of number of subscribers, which I'm really pushing out. 4 or 5 people away, 4 or 5 people watching this right now thinking, oh, I could do it. Just do you know what Nike say? Just do it. And I'd be very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful to my subscribers. You get a lot more as well on Patreon whilst I'm out here in Portugal. And then we've got a week to go and before the game against the Frankfurt. And then we go again, press conferences and games and under 21s. And we're back to back to back. And we're going to go bigger and better this season. I cannot wait. And tonight was just a small flavour of just getting back into the swing of things after watching the game tonight between Fulham and Al Ittihad. Thank you so much for watching. Let me just answer some more comments before we go. Great seeing King, Cess and TC playing together. What a dream. Absolutely. Beautiful. Why do we never sign players from the Championship other than Robinson, Harmer, Conway, Hackney, Ivanovic? I'd love Ivanovic because of the Serbian links and Mitrovic, whatever. Hackney's going to Ipswich. Conway, nah, not for me. Harmer's always been one that I've been interested in, but not sure. I get your point though. The EFL is a great market to sign some players. Who got the 3rd and 4th? 3rd was King. 4th was Jorge Cuenca, as is said here by Paul. Thanks. Oh, he already knew. Thank you. Would you sell Muniz if it meant we could bring back Mitrovic? No. Mitrovic, I think, is dead and buried. Not literally, but in terms of, he's, look, we saw tonight that this is, I think, the champions of the Saudi Pro League. And we washed them away in 45 minutes. Okay, they got a couple of goals back, but the standard there is just not there. I think Mitrovic would have probably lost a bit in terms of that sort of star quality. And yeah, I don't think that he'd do it in the Premier League. All that argument about him, can he do it in the Premier League? He did, but now I don't think he would be able to. And the rumours of him coming back to the Premier League, probably because he's probably had enough of Saudi Arabia. And that sort of sums up the Saudi Pro League. You go there, you bet your money, and you go, after a year or two, I sort of miss the Premier League and the English or whatever other league you'd want to join or you join from. And last comment, why has everyone forgotten Cess on the wing? He was effective every game last season. I don't think anyone's forgotten about Cess on the wing. I just think that because of Robinson's injury, he's had to come in and play at left back. Thank you so much for watching. Keep your eyes peeled at around about 8:45 for that first interview. Keep your eyes peeled. Patreon, you'll get it in a couple minutes. Subscribe to Patreon to find out in a couple minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Come on, Fulham.